Money is trash. My father said these exact words to me and he meant it. He looked at me and said it boldly. Not money isn't everything. Not money can't buy happiness. He said trash. Like it was garbage. Like it belonged in a bin. I was young enough to think he'd lost it, and old enough to be offended on money's behalf. This was the man who paid for my school fees, who put food on our table, who built something out of nothing, and he's telling me money is trash? So I pushed back. If money is so important, why would you call it trash? He didn't get defensive. He smiled, the kind of smile that tells you someone knows something you don't yet. Because there are things far more valuable than money, he said. If you build those things first, money will eventually find its way to you. I nodded. I had absolutely no idea what he meant. That sentence sat in my head for years. Quiet. Waiting. The way a seed waits in dry soil for one thing it hasn't gotten yet. Here's what nobody tells you about wealth. Most people are optimizing for the wrong variable. They think wealth is the goal. It's not. Wealth is just an outcome. Stay with me, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. If wealth were really about hard work, half of the hardest working people you know would be rich. Unfortunately, they're not. If it were really about intelligence, every genius would be wealthy. Something else happens, something underneath the numbers, invisible to the eye, and almost nobody talks about it directly. I started noticing it when I studied entrepreneurs who lost everything, and got it all back, faster than the first time. Same person, same brain, $0 in the bank. And within a few years, sometimes months, they were back on top. How? If money were the actual asset, losing all of it should mean starting from zero again. But it didn't. Something survived the crash. Something that wasn't in their bank account. That's when my father's words stopped being a riddle and started being a blueprint. Here's the truth most people never sit with. Money has prerequisites. There are invisible assets that create money. And there are visible assets that money buys. Most people spend their entire lives chasing the visible thing, while quietly starving the invisible one. That's why so many people can make money and still lose it. They built a harvest with no roots. And anything with no roots falls at the first storm. I started calling these the 6 invisible assets. Cash, the money you know, is the least. The first asset is reputation. Here's something strange about reputation. It moves faster than you do. By the time you walk into a room, your reputation already sat down at the table. Someone already decided, based on what they've heard, whether you're worth their time. Reputation isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the boring ones. The deadline you hit when no one would have noticed if you didn't. The promise you kept when breaking it would have been easier. People don't invest in the loudest person in the room. They invest in the person they trust to still be standing in 5 years. But reputation alone isn't enough. Because you can be trusted and still be alone. The second asset is meaningful relationships. Here's the part that surprises people. Not every connection is worth anything. You can have 3,000 contacts and still be one phone call away from nobody helping you. A business card isn't a relationship. A follow isn't loyalty. The relationships that actually move your life are built on something slower. Mutual respect, shared values, real trust. And here's the twist. One of those relationships can open a door that 10 years of solo grinding never could. But relationships built on convenience collapse the moment things get inconvenient. Which brings us to the next asset that decides whether people stay. The third asset is integrity. Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. Which means, by definition, most people never see it happen. They only see the result. Integrity can take years to build, and about 10 seconds to burn down. One lie doesn't cost you that one lie. It costs you every future sentence you'll ever say to that person. But here's the part people miss. Integrity isn't tested when it's hard to lie. It's tested when it's easy, and no one would ever find out. The people who pass that test quietly become the people everyone eventually comes back to. The fourth asset is character. Now here's where it gets personal. Character isn't who you are when things are going well. Anyone can be a good person with a full bank account and a good week. Character is who you are when everything falls apart. And here's the twist that reframes everything. Money doesn't build character. It reveals it. Give a generous person money, and they become generous at scale. Give an insecure person money, and their insecurity just gets a bigger microphone. The money didn't change them. It just revealed who they were in the secret. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If you become wealthy tomorrow, what would it reveal about you? The fifth asset is value. The truth is the market does not pay for effort. It pays for problems solved. You can work 60 exhausting hours doing something nobody needs and earn almost nothing. Or you can spend 20 focused minutes solving the exact problem someone's desperate to fix and get paid like it changed their life. Because it did. Your effort was never the product. Your value was. And value compounds in a way effort never can. Effort resets every morning. Value, skills, insight, the ability to actually deliver, stays with you even when the money doesn't. And now, finally, the sixth asset. Cash. Notice where it landed. Last. Not first. Not the foundation. The harvest. The other five? Those are the seeds. Here's the twist my father was handing me that day, wrapped in a sentence I was too young to unwrap. He wasn't telling me money didn't matter. He was telling me where it comes from. Plant reputation, relationships, integrity, character, and value. Consistently, quietly, for long enough, and money stops being something you're chasing down a street that keeps getting longer. It starts arriving. On its own. Because you built the thing that produces it. Most people never taste that. Not because they're lazy, because they're farming the wrong field. They're out here trying to harvest fruit from soil they never planted anything in. So here's the only question worth asking yourself today. If everything you own disappeared tomorrow, would the 6 things that actually create wealth still be standing? Because if they would, the money was never really gone. It was just waiting for you to plant it again. My name is Vince, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance. If you're someone who wants to stop feeling stuck financially and start building real wealth, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out.